Mac Buckley here with the UCCS Athletic Network. Here we have head coach Lynn Plett of your UCCS women's basketball team. Just got off the court against Regis Rangers. Regis ended up winning 67-59 on that game. Coach, really, what are your comments on that?
We got beat by two players, 53 out of 67 points by two guards. And so they lit it up from the beginning, made some threes. We got down really early, did not recovered from that very well. We actually recovered from the standpoint of score, because we caught up and we made it really close at halftime, and we were playing with them, and then we went right back again and let those two players beat us. So I got to give them credit. Their point guard was much quicker, much more effective, controlled the game pretty much the entire way, and we didn't do a very good job of containing her. And then she created shots for some other players, and one in particular who just played extremely well and shot the ball really well, and we didn't have an answer for it. And I think we panicked. I think we lost. I don't think we came out with a lot of confidence to begin with, and so it's something we need to work on.
And Coach, really just reflecting, you talked a lot right there, and didn't start off the game like you wanted to, went 0 for 8 from the field, talking about how shooting has been a big factor for the games, and then not having the players score as well for the Mountain Lions, and Brittany Hernandez led with 25 points. Really, Coach, talking about that as far as with the new system you're implementing and trying to find success, was tonight one of those nights that was just tough against the Rangers?
Well, obviously, yeah, it was. But again, we just didn't. We got away from it, and we didn't get very many transition baskets. Partly because they kept making shots early, and again, that kind of affect our psyche, I think. And so that's what happens, I think, when you start losing some confidence because the other team is really on a roll. And we didn't counter those by going back aggressively on the other side. And then when we did get a chance and got back in the ball game by getting the ball inside and scoring at the basket, then all of a sudden we decided to get a little happy with the three-point shots. And when we went 2 for 17 from the three-point line, and that's not intelligent basketball. So we'll get better. We just made some mistakes that we need to learn from. The guards in particular, we'll get some more, hopefully learn some things from this game and be able to play with more composure and be able to stick with what we do better instead of just reacting to what the other team is doing.
Coach, you had a couple players, rise to the occasion, jumping off the bench and, giving the team some points and trying to spark up the team. Talked about how it came back as far as points, but, talk about that mental aspect of the game, keeping that focus and knowing that this is the second game of the long weekend, knowing that these are conference games, they mean so much more. And it's an early season, getting the loss. Can you, for next weekend, being at home, what's the thought for practice, getting ready for those games next week?
Well, we're not going to do anything different. We're just going to prepare. We got to keep working on the stuff that we do consistently, make up for some of the mistakes that we made up here. Over the weekend, as you said, too, Mia played really well. Mia's had a great week of practice, and it's great when you see a player who hasn't been getting a lot of time respond really positively in practice for a week, and then really come show that up and really show it then in a game situation like Mia did both last night and tonight. So that's really encouraging when you find somebody like that. We just need to make sure that everybody else is doing their job as far as that goes too on a more consistent basis, and I think that's the biggest thing. When our three seniors struggle, when 2 out of 3 struggled tonight, and they did, it's tough for us. Somebody's got to make up for that, and we didn't. And most of the time, I think we're going to make up for that at the 3-point line, and we didn't make up for it there. And so that's probably maybe one of the biggest lessons that we need to put into practice next week.
Yeah, Coach, those 3-pointers playing a big factor there, and Regis was able to knock down 10 of 26, and like you said, going 2 of 17 from beyond the arc there. It looked like there was a lot of struggle as well as in that post play as far as making those inside shots, 20 of 61 tonight. So, Coach, talking about shooting and talking about that strong defense that you've implemented with this intensity, seeing how it was tough to box out Regis and they were getting a couple second chances and third chances, knowing that you're not going to be doing anything differently but keeping that intensity, how will you implement consistency for your team?
I don't know. Consistently, I don't think consistency is something I don't want to make an excuse, but really consistency has to come from the player, and that's really what we're after for is to find. And when they've been, those three seniors have been extremely consistent throughout the year. And again, they're going to have some games like this. It's tough when 2 out of 3 of them have games like that, and so we need that leadership, and we need it in a positive way. But they'll carry us. They'll do okay. Jen had a struggle tonight with scoring, and Tori just didn't look like herself tonight at all either. So, and even Brittany, it took her a while to get going a little bit too. So we can't rely on them completely, but they're a big part of what we do. And even if they don't necessarily score, if they're getting rebounds and they're blocking out, like you said, and taking care of some of the other aspects of the ball game, it makes the other players better. And part of it, we just didn't hit shots very well tonight.
And Coach, just another question for you before we let you go here. But talking about, it's still early in the season, talking about having a short memory and coming back with going at home in Gallagly this next weekend, talking about those upcoming games here. What's going to be the mental aspect as far as forgetting about this game tonight and then moving forward, knowing that, stuff like this happens, we're only human and we have off nights every once in a while.
Yeah, but you're exactly right. But we'll start fresh again on Monday, but we also have to learn something from this. And so, I think we have some players that are on our team that have a lot of pride, and I think their pride was a little hurt tonight, especially guards. When anytime you're a guard of any kind, you played a player against it all, and you give up 37 points, or you give up 16 points, or you give up 2 guards give up 53 points out of 67 points. You need to take that kind of as a slap in the face, and I think our players will. I think they will respond in a positive way. I think they will come back on Monday and hopefully be a little angry and play that way. That's really, I think, indicative of a competitive team. And so you're right, it's an early season, but if we don't learn from this, the loss doesn't do us any good.
Very true, Coach. Wise words of wisdom from Coach Plett after the loss against Regis Rangers. Mac Buckley here with the UCCS Athletic Network. Hey, Coach Plett, thank you for your time tonight.
Thanks, Mac.